Hey, what is up? Hashtag Salamence Squad. This is Trainer Craigo here, and this is a video that I've been wanting to make for a while, and it's investing in Pokemon cards. I've been seeing a lot of videos about can you make money from opening Pokemon cards. Pokeref specifically has been doing a lot of modern and semi-modern sets where he opens the box and trying to see can he get his money back. Now, like any card game or just opening cards in general, you can make your money back and you can also lose a lot of money. And that's just the luck of the draw. I mean, some people would consider it gambling. I think there's definitely an element of gambling in card collecting because there is a lot of luck. I mean, that's if you're just going to open them. For example, I opened a Brilliant Stars booster box a few nights ago that had probably $600 worth of value because I pulled both of the hyper rare Charizard VMAX, the regular Charizard VMAX, the alternate art, as well as some other rainbow rares and some Umbreons and things like that fetch a high price. Now, the main reason I wanted to make this video is to showcase kind of my take on investing in Pokemon cards and where I am putting my money to make profit. Because a lot of people nowadays are trying to just go and buy the newest set and flip them for a profit. And I mean, like in general, a lot of these people are considered scalpers. With any hobby, there's always going to be a big leech on the belly if there's money involved, and it definitely does take away from the value and the love of genuine collectors. But you're seeing a lot of these collectors kind of fade out. Obviously, 2020 was a boom for Pokemon, and it's been on a incline and a decline since. I think we're coming back up to an incline because Brilliant Stars is a huge set that gets a lot of people hyped. I mean, any set that has Charizards will get people hyped, but you're not going to make a lot of money on modern stuff unless you manage to get really lucky, get pre-release kits, and are selling before pre-release date. If you look at a lot of comp prices of cards, they're falling upwards of 80-90% of their value 3-4 days after a set is released. So if you are somebody who can get your hands on product in bulk and open and sell to the masses early, yeah, you can make some money there, but the big money is going to be in vintage stuff and older stuff and stuff that's unique. So I decided to pull some of the things from my collection that I've either bought over the years for planned investment or cards that I bought at a certain price and show you kind of where they are now. So a lot of these cards that I showcase have been seen in the background or I've talked about them before. Um, some of these are from my own personal collection that I graded and pulled myself. Some of them are ones that I bought. So it's a lot of difference. And here is also another investment story that I have a little bit later on to tell. And I'm hoping that this right here will yield something because this base set stuff over here was more the ideal investment where I found stuff at a good price, had a really good deal, could keep stuff sealed, and wanted to kind of play off that and see if I could make some money in the future. Now, this is not trying to scam anybody. I'll be honest with you. All these packs over here, they're light packs. But people are going to know that when I sell it to them. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. But I wanted to go through some of my heavy hitter cards that I bought or graded myself and what price they were when they were raw and what price they are now. So we'll start with these PSA cards just because, I mean, PSA is probably the go-to one. Beckett is a close second. But this is a base set shadowless, so there's no border shadow. Um, Holographic mint 9. So PSA 9. There's obviously there's a little bit of imperfections here and there. I mean, that's honestly that might be worse than a 9 in some aspects, or maybe that's why I got the 9 and everything else is pretty flawless. There is maybe one print line. Can't tell if that's really on the case or on the card itself. Now, this card has a story, as many of these cards do, but this card right here was purchased actually by my mom for me for my 20th birthday at $150. So 2019 came around. She was actually trying to buy a first edition Charizard. Basically, the seller that she was talking to and confirmed, he was like, "Oh, nuts. I actually don't have any more first edition Charizards on me. I'm so sorry. I actually promised it to somebody else, but I'll give you a deal on this. So he actually brought the price down on this to sell to my mom. Uh, and I really do admire her buying it for 150 because she had no idea. She wasn't going to ask me like, "Is this a good card?" Because she wanted it to be a surprise. This card now is worth upwards of $1,500 last time I've checked, and it's really anywhere from 1,000 plus to 1,500, maybe even $1,600. I mean, it's a very nice card. At the boom of Pokemon, sorry about that. At the boom of Pokemon, you could have argued this to be about a $2,000 card to the right buyer. So already there you're seeing 10x value just in one card alone. Now, obviously, I love this card. It's a part of my collection. It's not one that I'm going to sell, as a lot of these cards I bought because I love them and I want them. Um, but I'm kind of getting into the stage of my collection where I'm going to have cards that I love and want to keep, and ones that I eventually want to sell, because investing in cards is like any investment where you're going to have to make money eventually, and it's just a hobby until you can prove that you can sell. So that's one of my favorite cards in the set. Now, both these next two cards that I'm showcasing are other ones that my mom bought. So like, yeah, I can say I'm investing, but like I just want to showcase these cards because these are all like cards that have been Christmas presents or things like that. And my mom got both these cards for about $300 back in 2018. And now we're looking at about $1,000 a piece, upwards of a little bit more depending on the buyer, because they're crystal cards. They're very rare. But what I'm trying to get at is you're not going to see that increase of card value from a set 4 years ago. The reason that these are worth about 1,000 a piece and 1,500 a piece is because they're nearing 20 years old. This one's already over 20 years old. So you got to keep that in mind, that really the old vintage stuff is what's going to hold its value. Now, my personal card that I bought, it was at the time the most expensive card I ever bought, was this PSA 10 Charizard EX from Fire Red Leaf Green. I bought this for $500. I was debating between buying a PSA 9 for $250 and a PSA 10 for $500, and I sprung for the $500. Last time I checked these comps, this was a $5,000 to $6,000 card. Again, we're looking at about a 10x price increase, which is pretty crazy to even think about. But a lot of these cards that I'm going to showcase, at least when I bought them to now, has been about a 10x price increase. So again, these are just cards that have really maintained their value. But again, you're looking at cards that are 21 years old, or not 21 years old, like 18, 19 years old. And that's the reason that these are selling for such a high price, is because they're rare. The thing about Brilliant Stars is, yeah, I can pull a card like this, and this was selling for about $300 pre-release, and now it's selling for about $160. And I bet you this is going to drop probably close to around 100, maybe a little bit below, depending on the pull rate. But the thing is, they're going to keep printing Brilliant Stars because there's a high demand, and this card is going to lose its value. They're never going to print this card again. This card will never get printed again. And if it does, you're going to see it in like a Celebrations type set where it's a reprint, and it doesn't have that same value. The Umbreon Gold Star is like a $1,700 card raw, because it came from that Pop 5 series. It's super expensive. Whereas it's $40, $30 in Celebrations. PSA, Charizard as well, holds some value at about $75, but it's never going to reach what it was. And that's just because of scarcity. That's what a lot of people don't understand, is that you got to invest in stuff that's going to be scarce. I mean, sure, everything's going to be scarce, but as we've seen with 2020 and the boom of Pokemon, is a lot of the modern stuff that people are saving and holding on to is never going to be as scarce as base set, just because so many people are keeping sealed collections. And that's why you're seeing people sell their entire sealed collection for about $600 to $1,000, but it's only a couple of modern sets, because again, they got into it in 2020 trying to make a quick buck, and it didn't work out for them, because this is not a hobby where you can really make a quick buck unless you're kind of screwing over people. Now, the most recent card that I bought that was really expensive was this card right here, which is a Crystal Charizard from Skyridge. Again, it's almost a 20-year-old card. It's authentic, meaning it's a PSA 1, or wasn't good enough to get PSA 1, I should say. So it's very damaged, and you can see it's a very beat up card. So it has been altered, or it's not good enough to get a 1, but it's an authentic card, so it's a real card. Now, this card I did pay $725 for, which is a pretty fair price, considering a lot of these cards are upwards of $2,000, $3,000 raw, and the reverse is start at about 1,500 for a pretty damaged card. So do I expect this card to really generate a lot of value? No, because it's in such poor condition, but it's a lovely card that will hold and maintain its value and probably go up maybe by the time if I ever want to sell it, or by the time that I'm looking back at price comps, it maybe could sell for 1,000. So you're not even making 2x, but it's still potential money. Now this is another card that is beat up. It's got some creases on the flames, but I mean, other than that, it's a pretty nice looking card. It's a PSA 4 Gold Star Charizard from Dragon Frontiers, and I remember paying about $250 for this card. And this card, it's hard to get price ranges on cards that are like this level of, like, I mean, obviously PSA 10s and stuff you're going to find a lot of good price ranges for, but like PSA 2, 3, and 4 are the least popular pops, if that makes sense, because people know the card's not good enough. But obviously if it's this kind of card, you can put it up there. And I'd expect this card to go upwards of a couple $100, 500 maybe to 750. Again, right buyer could be 1,000. You never know. But Gold Star cards are really hard to find, very rare, very sought out cards. And finally, the card that has not appreciated the most in it has gone up the most in regular profit wise if I were to sell it now, not most in terms of like multiplication. But this is a first edition Charizard PSA 7, and this was purchased for about $2,700. And again, at the boom of Pokemon, it was about a $13,000 card. Now it's hovering around 10, maybe 11,000, maybe 9, really depending on where or who you buy from. But yeah, it's an expensive card. It's gone up about 4x. But it's also gone up about $9,000, $8,000, $9,000. Never would sell this card. This is the holy grail of my collection. I love it. But yeah, it's just showing that, again, the youngest card is a 15-year-old card in this set. And when we look to this stack of Beckett's, I believe the youngest card we're going to see is probably 18 years old, somewhere around there. Or actually, no, it's about 12. So here's another one. So this is a card that I bought myself. It's a 6, which means it's not great, but it probably crests right about around $1,000. I bought this for about $100. Didn't even know it was shadowless when I bought it. Got it off TCG Player when I was first getting back into Pokemon, right around high school, end of high school, early college years, so about 5-6 years ago. And now this card is like 10x what it was. And I graded this myself, just because a shadowless card is always a card that you want to get graded. There's no reason you should never grade a shadowless Charizard. But it just goes to show you that, like, even a beat up card can still net you 10x value. So definitely the newest card here is a Charizard GX. And again, if you're going to grade stuff, grade Charizards. Obviously, I've got a PSA 9 Charizard back there. I've graded Charizards from Tins and ETBs, and the Rainbow Rare Charizards as well, because those are always going to hold high value just because people love Charizard. But another one that, I mean, I didn't buy this card. I pulled it myself, and it sat in a binder for almost 10 years, and then I got it, more than 10 years actually, and then I got it graded. So, you know, like this was a card that I got a booster box for 200 something bucks in like 2011. Pulled this card, and this card is closing in on 1,000 just because it's such a beautiful card. So, I mean, like, yeah, we're getting to the point where I've only got 2 more to show just because we're getting kind of redundant. But this is a Mew Gold Star that I bought for about $300 from Troll and Toad's PAX booth in it was either 2019 or 2020. I believe it was 2020. And I got it graded, and it came back an 8.5, which puts it at about a $1,400 card. Now, this is something that, like, obviously raw cards are a great investment if you can get them in good condition. Because Troll and Toad could never justify selling this for $1,400 because no one would buy it. That's why grading companies like Beckett, PSA, and now CGC are becoming so reputable, because you need to invest in cards that are worth it, first of all. Second, that will hold their value. And third, preserve the condition by putting them into grading sleeves. And the last card that I have is definitely more of a collector item that I don't know how much this price will skyrocket because there's such a limited quantity, but it's also not super sought after. So for position only cards, there are about, I believe, I want to say like 237 packs ranging between 5 and 10 cards that were accidentally released because these were all supposed to be destroyed. So this is a Blastoise from there that was purchased for about $3,200. So pretty expensive card. Were I looking to buy from DFW Pokemon, they offered to sell it for about closer to $6,000 or $7,000. So yeah, I found a really good deal on this card and talked the guy down $500. Could I go out and sell this for $5,000? Probably. Could I go out and sell it for 10? Maybe in a couple years. But the thing is, there's just never going to be any more. And the guy at DFW Pokemon that owns the rest of the packs opened all of them except like 4 or 5. So he's got the only remaining packs and he's graded all the remaining cards. So now we know that we know the supply that is there. We know exactly how many are graded, or will once all the grades come back. We know exactly how many are in circulation. And it's an interesting card because you will never find any more because we know the exact amount that were printed. So it's not like base set where like how many more base set booster boxes are out there. We know exactly. There's like 4 or 5 packs of this left, maybe 10. I don't know how many he kept sealed. And there's only maybe 40, maybe 50 of these cards, and there's only like 10 at this rate. So it's really hard to justify like what this price would end up being. So it kind of becomes when the seller wants to part. And I think I could sell this really for any price if I had the right buyer. Not that I would. But now we're going to get on to the real reason that I kind of wanted to make this video is the investment of old school sealed stuff. So to give a little backstory, this is 15 base set packs, completely sealed, fresh from 2 box breaks. A friend over at Drip Genny, or Generous Collectibles, who ended up getting 2 different base set booster boxes, did a pretty good deal where he was offering you to buy a pack for $450. He would weigh the pack for you. If it was light or heavy, you could keep it sealed. I chose to rip all of my heavy packs. So out of 18 packs, I only got 3 heavies. I pulled a Venusaur holographic, I pulled a Chansey holographic, and a Mewtwo holographic. All 3 of those also managed to qualify for the free express grading that Drip Shop Pokemon Live, or Drip Live, was going to do via DFW Pokemon. So I'm still waiting to get those back. But the reason that this is really an investment video is because I wanted to do something special with these packs. Last year alone, base set 10 sealed packs, base set PSA 10 sealed packs were selling for about $2,000 to $3,000. Now they're selling for about $1,000. So if I go and I grade all of these packs, let's say they come back 10s. That's $15,000 of packs. I bought these each at $450. We're looking at roughly 2x price alone. But if I sell them as sets, I could sell them as more. But also, if you haven't noticed, I have a lot of Charizards. And the reason is I bought art sets from Genny. And what ended up happening was people wanted complete sets. So people were actually trading me Venusaur, Blastoise packs for Charizard packs. So I was giving people those packs. So originally, the first 9 packs that I got that were light out of my original 12 that I purchased, 3 Charizards, 3 Venusaurs, 3 Blastoise. Now, if you look, I've got 4 Venusaur, 4 Blastoise, and 7 Charizards. Obviously, Charizard fetches a little bit more of a higher price. Now, if I wanted to sell these as light packs, I could go ahead and probably sell them for $500 a piece, make 50 extra a piece, maybe $550, push it to $100, sell these for $550, sell these for $500 for somebody that wanted it in their collection. And I'm not going to tell people that they're heavy, or I'm not going to tell people that I don't know the weight. I'm going to tell them that they are light, and these are probably for sealed items. But what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to grade every single one of these and see what they come back as. And if they come back as 10s, I could be swimming in a very, very large profit and still be able to keep an art set or a couple Charizards for myself while covering the cost. So basically, this video was kind of just showing what my idea for a investment in Pokemon cards looks like. If, as you can see, nothing that I've invested in is older or is younger, sorry, than 2009. So the basis of this video is, yeah, you can collect stuff, and don't get me wrong, I collect things that are newer. I mean, I just recently bought this Luzamine full art, but it was like a $20 card. But I'm not going to make money in that. That's a card for my personal collection that I like to have. So the real reason for this video is not to show off, oh, look at how many amazing cards I have, but to tell you that if you want to invest in cards, you're going to have to choose cards that are rare and hold their value, which sucks if you're a new investor who doesn't have any capital really to back it up, because then you got to put all your money on one base set booster pack and hope it increases. Whereas you could buy 3-4 booster boxes for the price of one of these of Brilliant Stars, and who knows, pull a handful of Alt-Art Charizards, or pull a handful of cards that you could sell for $1,000. It really depends on what you think is the right way to go. But personally, I think investing in Pokemon cards needs to be done in the vintage era, and there's really no other way to do it wholesomely. I say wholesomely as in, yeah, if you're trying to make a profit, you're trying to make a profit, but really the only people that are making profits are retailers, or people that have middlemen, or people that have their own shops like Pokerev, things like that. He's not necessarily trying to scam anybody out of cards. He's not, but he gets his stuff at a much cheaper price and sells them to you at market retail price, MSRP. So then he's able to make profit on that. Unless you have a license or an LLC or again, a license, you're not going to be able to do that on your own. And the way that people do this is they scalp everything at Target and Walmart and then they sell it to you. And it's kind of a scummy way, honestly, to sell and make money on Pokemon cards, and that's why we're seeing a lot of them leaving, because they realize there's not a quick turnaround on that, which I like to see. So if you're somebody who wants to invest in Pokemon cards long term, think about it like stocks. You got to hold stocks for a long time. Unless you're a day trader, you're flipping all the time, but that's a very hectic thing. If you want something that you can just buy and sit on, I think you got to go with WotC era, WOTC era, EX era, and Diamond and Pearl / Platinum, or the big hitters of Black and White and X and Y. So, yeah, I just kind of wanted to talk about it. Let me know what you guys think. I'd love to do an updated video. I want to send these off once PSA gets open to cheaper grading again. But let me know what you have in your collection that you think will increase in value one day, and what you are doing as an investor in Pokemon, because it's always nice to see how other people are collecting, spending money, making money, and just enjoying the overall game, trading card aspect, collecting aspect of Pokemon. Because at the end of the day, it's all built on nostalgia, it's all built on the love for Pokemon, and there's no shame in making a living through Pokemon as long as you're not being scummy. So that's pretty much it. That's a nice rant / showcase of my collection of newer cards that I've gotten and older cards that I've had for a while. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.